Hey everybody, it's Elan, and I know I've made a video on my favorite Korean martial art before, but I lied. I lied unintentionally because I've discovered a new favorite Korean martial art, and it's a martial art I've actually known about for a long time, but I never deep dived into it. I kind of just imagined it as the precursor to taekwondo, and it kind of had this weird dance. And if you know what I'm talking about already, pause the video right now and comment in the section below because I'm curious how many people just off that know what I'm thinking about. It's a Korean martial art with a little bit of a weird dance and a precursor or predecessor to Taekwondo. So cool little challenge, martial art challenge. Write it below. But now I'm going to say what it is. The martial art I'm talking about is taekkyeon. Stay tuned because it's going to get really interesting.
Pow pow inside, inside fighting, yeah, dangerous, dangerous martial arts. Pow pow, ooh ah.
I'm really excited to talk about this style, and I hope I pronounced it right because I'm not good at pronunciation. I went looking for the proper pronunciation of this system, and it was very hard to find. Everything was written in Korean, but it's a very old Korean martial art. In fact, it might be the oldest Korean martial art. And what I could find about its original application was that it was a combative system that involved every part of your body, including takedowns and including locks. It would just continue onto the ground. So it was an MMA based system that would use your arms, but it was also very heavy kick oriented. And it was kind of like a game that combatants could play with each other to develop these skills. So super interesting history. And it kind of got lost over time until this guy in the turn of the 20th century, Song Gi, came out and wrote a book about it. And he had a direct lineage to it, supposedly. And he rebrought it, reinvigorated it. And I think it's a modern day reimagining of it that we see today. But man, oh man, is it ever super interesting as a system. It's very rare I come across a system that has such unique elements to it that I don't believe you'd find them as a package in another martial art. I often find you could find a lot of those things in other martial arts, but this one has a lot of things that stand out about it. Sorry for the terrible lighting, by the way, all of these white spots on my face. I'm traveling. I'm in a hotel room right now, but I really wanted to make this video. So let's just jump right in. I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to play a cool clip here of some taekkyeon sparring, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. So remember, I said this is a predecessor to Taekwondo, but the differences here, and I'm going to jump right in and show it, are that something like a Taekwondo would show you right over here, would show you, and how do I make this big? There we go. In Taekwondo, what you would see is that people would be wearing heavy protection and they would not go for these little foot sweeps, which are so slick and taekkyeon. Look at the movement they have here. Now, the dynamic of the foot sweeps and takedowns changes the system completely. So the fundamental difference I see here, man, what a nice head kick. The fundamental difference I see here is that number one, there's a very, very, very playful approach to this system. Very, very playful. And it relies on something that I read is called pumbolki, which is a footwork motion, which I'll show more of later, which is kind of like if you're a capoeirista, you have your jinga. This is like their version of it. It's like a triangular footstep. And like I said, I'll cover it later, but I want to just cover this sparring because there's certain things that you see here that make it so unique. So what's unique about the system? Again, they wear no protection at all, and they rely on a hybrid of very, very sneaky kicks with very, very slick takedowns, often with your legs as well. Now, this demonstration here, it seems like I could find 4 lineages of taekkyeon, how it's kind of expressed. Some of them use their arms much more, and here he's even demonstrating the hooking. See that sweep that he just landed? Super slick. But some of them rely, like these guys, heavily on their legs. They almost don't use their arms at all, and all their takedowns almost involve their legs. So there's kind of like a wide, here they're going for more traditional takedowns. So there's kind of like a wide range of sparring that I noticed within the system, but the one consistency is extremely, extremely effective kicking and extremely, extremely sneaky takedowns, and always playful in nature, which I love. And I'm going to jump to another video here because I love systems. Look at these kicks. I love systems that cover kind of a playful way to spar while still being effective. And what Taekwondo I feel loses is that it became a very point-oriented system. There's so much protection, and it ignores a major part of fighting, which is what they're doing right now, which is takedowns. I love that they focus so much on takedowns with the agility they develop off these high kicks. But they're super dynamic, They're super agile. It develops a certain type of understanding of kicking, very much like capoeira, very much like I said, a game where in here he's sparring with a master, where there's a give and take, and no one's actually trying to rip the other person's head off, but they're finding the openings and they're landing them super clean. And they're keeping their hands up. They're ready for that high kick at all times. So it's developing an awareness of head protection too, which is really, really nice. You don't see that in Taekwondo. You see people in Taekwondo keep their hands down very, very low when they spar. It's always been a problem of mine. Anytime I did Taekwondo, I didn't like the lack of power that people would generate. They would just touch you. And I didn't like the amount of protection. And I didn't like how low people kept their hands. Now, I can forgive the lack of takedowns, but you get the bonus of that here. And what they have here better than anyone I've seen is these kind of hooking kicks that catch your foot and drag you to the ground, which you've seen a few times. That's a Kyokushin wheel kick, by the way. So that's pretty cool to see in the system. See, there it is again, the hooking system. And they also do low kicks a lot, which is something you don't see in Taekwondo. So I don't know how this is not a more popular system, because I find this system to be so much more fun, playful, and also so much more practical in its application. See, there you go, leg kick, something you don't see often. Now, in my research, I was lucky enough to find some competitions that are more big kind of demonstrations and competitions of taekkyeon. Beautiful takedown there. And here it is. I'm going to play some of it now, and you'll see just how takedown oriented these competitions can become. I kind of want to allow this last aspect here to finish just so we can see how it ends. Nice bow of respect. But here we see a more kind of competitive taekkyeon tournament. And if you look, right away, the kick is caught and he goes for a hard throw. And so the way you win in taekkyeon, which is a rule set I like, is you either kick the guy in the head or you take him down. So you're incentivized on both ends of things. And you see these guys use their arms much more. Man, sneaking that head kick over the top. Okay, so these guys landed right on his neck. You could see he's hurt. But I have never seen people more slick at landing kicks over the guard as taekkyeon guys and then going right into a takedown. I always talk about Sanshao or Sanshu, Sanda being such a unique style because of its hybrid of striking to takedowns. But this style offers an almost more unique approach because of just how slick they are with the foot sweeps and how sneaky they are with the kicks. This is arguably the best kicking hybrid takedown system I've ever seen by a mile. So not arguably. I think it just has the perfect connection of the two. And they have certain kicks which you just don't find in other systems. You see it in Taekwondo, and it's that you see it in Kyokushin. It's that Uchimawashi Geri, which is that inside kind of crescent kick. And here, let me see if I could find it right here. So they do this kind of presentation to each other before they spar. There's a traditional aspect of it. And here you're really going to see the footwork I was talking about, that Jinga footwork, that Pumbulki footwork, they call it, Pumbulki. So they have, and again, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it's like a dance. You see how they kind of come off of that? And it reminds me so much of capoeira in the sense that they go from this kind of triangular footwork right into sneaky kicks. And that in capoeira, one thing I really loved was the give and take of the system. These guys just came to try the taekkyeon class and they shot a documentary on it. It's a pretty good video. She's going for a takedown here, and he explains that you can only hold for 3 seconds in taekkyeon rules. And she held for too long, and she still didn't get him down. But if you look, the exchanges are just really beautiful. See, he caught the leg. He's going to let it go because he won't hold for more than 3 seconds because he's a pro at it. So there's just some really nice. And now the two people who came to do the class are going to spar with each other. They're both Taekwondo black belts. But you could see what I like about them is that they're actually honoring the system. They're doing the dance. They're not great at taekkyeon, but that is a demonstration at least of the playfulness of it and the footwork. He's got really beautiful kicks, and it just shows the connection between taekwondo to taekkyeon and just how quickly he can kind of adapt. Nice leg catch and nice takedown by him. He's actually not bad. His movement's pretty nice. Final thoughts on the system. Incredibly unique martial art. Incredibly fun, incredibly playful. And I think martial arts have to be fun when you're sparring, because part of what keeps you having longevity in a system is when you're not destroying each other in the gym. I'm a huge advocate of that now, even though I love tough martial arts. I think there's a way to express those martial arts in a way that you're not getting brain damage every time you train, because you want to be able to do this as you get older. Now I'm in my 40s. I want to be able to have longevity. I want to be training when I'm in my 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I've trained with Guru Danny Nasanto. He's a real inspiration. You see him in his 80s just going, and his movement is still amazing. And so I know that that's possible. This is a martial art that seems to, I saw a lot of older guys training it. You'll obviously lose a little bit of the dexterity, but you'll still be able to have that playful nature, kind of like that capoeira back and forth give and take, where you're not smashing up your body too much. And I know people are going to say capoeira is a very taxing martial art where you don't see a lot of people at an older age doing it, but that's not true. Not if you look at the Angola systems instead of the regional, where there's less acrobatics, there's more groundwork, there's more focus on slow movement. This has a very similar aspect, I feel, where that playfulness could change as you age into giving you that. I do think it in itself, would I just learn this system and consider it an excellent system for self-defense? No, because it seems to be missing certain aspects of fighting. I think it would definitely help you in self-defense, but it wouldn't be my first choice. But it would be one of my first choices of something to add on right now to learn as an experienced martial artist, to develop my game in a different direction than I'm used to or comfortable with. And I think this is one of those systems where until I experience it, I won't really even understand just how cool it is or how effective it feels to get tripped by those little hook sweeps when you're throwing a kick all the time at that level, at that skill set, because they seem to be incredible at it. And so again, I think if you're like a Kyokushin guy, this would almost be the perfect system to tack on. Even if you're a Muay Thai guy, it'll give you the takedowns. It'll give you some kicks you haven't seen before. So I just absolutely love it. Again, it's an incredibly obscure martial art outside of Korea. As far as I know, there's just very, very few schools that are doing it, but hopefully it grows. It is really what I wish Taekwondo was. The popularity of Taekwondo, I wish, was in this system. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it introduced you to a cool Korean martial art that you haven't seen before. And please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks very much. And by the way, leave a martial art below that you'd like me to make a video on, or anything whatsoever. I'll do techniques. I'll do, videos on self-defense. So whatever you're interested in, I'm always open to ideas. I love making these videos. Thanks so much.